let's take a look at example 4. Now, you may notice very quickly in example 4 that we could easily solve this by plugging A into here to solve for C, and plugging B into here to solve for D. However, you will notice in the instructions it says by writing the system as an augmented matrix and getting it into reduced row echelon form. This is important. On your test, in the instructions, it will tell you what method you need to use to solve the system of equations. If you do not use that method, I will only give you 1 point for the problem if you get the correct answers. 1 point for the right answers, no points for any work. So if it's a 5-point problem, I will give you 1 out of 5 if you get the answers right. So it's very important to read the instructions and follow whatever method the instructions tell you to. So this one says to write it as an augmented matrix and get it into reduced row echelon form. So this is a little bit more of a difficult augmented matrix, so I kind of highlighted our columns right here. We have the A column, B column, C column, D column, and then the answer column. I can fill in the answer column without too much trouble. Now, for this first equation right here, I have A equals 1. So I'm going to put a coefficient of 1 in the A column and zeros everywhere else. Then I have B equals 0. So I'm going to put a coefficient of 1 in the B column and zeros everywhere else. Here I have 3A plus C, so a 3 in the A column and a 1 in the C column. Zeros everywhere else. And then finally 3B plus D, so a 3 in the B column and a 1 in the D column. Zeros everywhere else. So here is our augmented matrix. We need to get this into reduced row echelon form as per the instructions. So we're almost there. We already have 1s on the diagonal, which is fantastic. We have zeros on the top. We just need to get all these zeros on the bottom. So I need to focus on this 3 and this 3. Now, a key that I have for getting to reduced row echelon form is to work from left to right and from up to down. So we start in the leftmost column, and then now that we're in the leftmost column, we go up to down. So this one is already a 0, that's fine. So that means this is the one I'm going to work with first. Left to right, up to down. So step 1, I need to get rid of this 3. Now, to get rid of this 3, I'm going to do our row operations. Multiply and add to get it to be a 0 there. You'll notice if I do row 2 plus row 3, there is nothing I can multiply to this 0 to get it to cancel with that 3. That 3 is not going to cancel. So I have to do something with row 1 and row 3. So row 1 and row 3, because then I can multiply this by a -3, and then I can get row 1 and row 3 to cancel. So row 1 and row 3, we're going to eliminate the first column, and we will replace row 3 with that column. So here's row 1 and row 3. So I'm going to have you pause the video at this point. You should be able to do this part on your own. Get them to eliminate this first column and then take whatever answer you get and replace row 3 with that, and then come back to check your work and see how you did. I got 00102 for my answer. Replaced row 3 with that answer. Now we continue from left to right, up to down. So our left column is good, all zeros. And then our next column, not all zeros. So now we go up to down. That one's fine. So we got to deal with that 3 next. So step 2, I want to deal with this 3. So if I want this 3 to eliminate, the only row that I can multiply things by to get the 3 to go away is row 2. Because then I can multiply this by a -3 and add row 2 and row 4 together to get those 3's to cancel. So row 2 and row 4, we're going to eliminate the second column and then replace row 4 with that answer. So I'm going to have you once again pause the video to do that. Here's row 2 and row 4. Eliminate our second column and then replace our row 4 with that answer. Come back to check your answers when you're ready. I got 0, 0, 0, 1, -1. Put that in place of row 4. And now I've got reduced row echelon form. I got zeros on the bottom half, zeros on the top half, ones on the diagonal, which means these 4 numbers are my final answers for A, B, C, and D. That is the beauty of row echelon form. We will continue to write it as a coordinate point. So we got A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D. There's our point. So that is how we work through example 4. We have one more example to go for this lesson. It is the longest, hardest example thus far, but we will work through it for the most part together.